Welcome to Ragnarok. No, not that Ragnarok. The Ark. I'll be going for my 100 days. This is my first go around at 100 days challenge. Enjoy slightly OP tames, getting attacked by creatures, and getting arked. Please forgive some of the technical difficulties. Well, I got straight down to business, harvesting all the essentials at the start. Got it up here. Sand. Don't know what you need that for exactly. Rocks. I'll take them out. I proceeded to wreck this dodo here, and I got brave, and took on some turtles as well. Hide. 25. Get some. Why didn't you get his friend? I then met up with this parasaur. She liked to go clubbing. Here. Tamed up real fast. What's an Archie doing down here? I was hoping I could bowl it in Archie. Can you bowl that? Be ahead in the game. But that went about as well as you would think. Oh, we're trouble. We're dead. Can you imagine a T-Rex that big? It's like Godzilla. I forgot to record for 5 minutes, and I got killed by a dino. So I made a quick base, and went and grabbed my stuff. Here's some resource gathering and base building. This consisted of my next couple days. Towards the end of the day, I had some unwanted guests that I needed to get rid of. 2 of the pests, I did the art community a favor and murked the ichthyornises. After some more gathering, I had built some of the basic needs for the base. The next thing to do was to start exploring. My parasaurs detected some enemies, and as you'll see, these raptors ended up giving me grief. No trank arrows yet, and that was probably the start of what went wrong. This idiot is running in circles. And this is where things went from bad to worse. I got complacent with my Ebolas here. So I was trying to hurry and save my Parasaur, but I also needed to grab my stuff, if not it just would have been a waste. But like I said, things went from bad to worse for me. The Raptors were tearing us up, they killed my Parasaur and me again. While back at base, I was able to get things back in my favor. I made some Trank arrows. Since I wasn't in a hurry, I could sit here and clobber these Raptors with them. I ended up taming them, and I tamed a replacement Tech Parasaur a little later on in the day. I started to run around the beach and explore and level up my Raptors. Towards the end of the day, I bowled the Pteranodon and waited for it to tame up. Now let's try. The next day I was out and I found an area with a bit of metal, but the Argies attacked. I hopped on my Raptor to get away and bring my teams with me, but they weren't going to let me go so easy. So we tried to battle it out here. Not sure I tried to bola an Argie again, but he got me. DED. Dead. After losing my Pterosaur, I ran all the way back. I thought my Raptor was going to be dead, but they were hanging strong. And we fought and we took out the Argies. I ended up placing a closer spawn for the next time I get attacked. I then tamed a solid Raptor and then spotted a wreck to try and get ahead early in the game. I should have made more arrows. Oh well, wasn't a high level anyways. Found a new PT, and this will help getting around. Later on, I was close to an easy artifact, so I flew and dropped in to grab it. Tamed this fella here to get around the sea. I started to tame some Megs here in the cove, and a little later I spotted a Basilosaurus, and I cleared out the Mantas. I spent the rest of the day leveling up the sea teams. I made my way through this cave. Thank God for grappling hooks. Everything was going okay, getting some solid drops. Then tragedy struck. So after the crushing fall in the cave, I went back to the ocean, leveled my tames, threw on my scuba, and we went looking for the sea artifact, which I learned is where all the Tusos are. These Tusos were no joke. They could tank some damage, as most of them were quite high level. I then found an Alpha Tuso and battled it for a few. It got me a little nervous as it almost killed my shark. We rallied and put a beating on the squid. The Tuso tried to escape a couple of times, but we caught up and finally put down the great beast. I then found a solid Tuso to tame, since I had lots of black pearls, and then we made our way to the artifact. Let's be honest, we all know what's about to happen to the penguins. Then to finish off the day, I just ended up collecting some resources that we needed. So, using the polymer that I had and some of the other resources needed, I made some cryopods the next day. I found a griffin and chased him for 2 days. As you can see, I almost killed him. But after a long grind, I tamed it. But I unfortunately had a recording error. I then proceeded to tame some decent Spinos. I found this 145 Yudi and shot her up from a safe distance. Once it started to retreat, I hopped off to get the final shots in. Once I hit her with a few more arrows, she finally went down.
Surprise!
Had a surprise guest here, tamed him up real quick, made him a breeding pair with my other Yudi, and the griffin made an easy escape. The next day was just resource grinding. Then I took the Spino out to the cove for some easy XP and some easy resources. I finally tamed my first Trex for the map. The next day, I flew to the castle to get some meat and experience for my griffin. I spotted a Giga and I ran it into the mountain. Somehow I got blessed with it getting stuck in the rocks. So I blasted him with a lot of Trex. I had to make some more a few times and it took me quite a while to do. The beast unstuck itself. I missed terribly with a few shots. Then I finally hit it and it finally went down. About bloody time. I tamed up the great beast. I found a solid iguanodon saddle, but I won't use it. Then I returned to base. Next couple of days were spent hunting the boss tributes. Just enjoy the montage of Spinos getting sniped here. I saw this theory and I decided to tame it up. They seemed to spawn in very rarely, so I took my chance and grabbed them while I could. Energy issues getting arced. This would happen later on in a few places, as you'll see. Some of the artifacts did not spawn in the locations. Stopped and got some more resources and I ran back home to drop some metal in the industrial forge. Then after that is when I started to go look for thylacoleos to get their claws.
He is a sick puppy.
The micro turd almost killed me due to the fall.
I love
Didn't
it!
see this guy narrowly escaping, and my griffin took the hit. As I was exploring, I started killing the mantises for their polymer, so I could make some repairs on my weapons. The next day I went out to take my UD to get some easy levels, eating some small dinos. The devil bird, I'm going to do the unthinkable. Tame her. Gonna check the area. Down and getting the meat in the inventory. Now for what you really want me to do to the microraptors. Yeah, that's what you really wanted. I know. Instantly tamed and went straight to work killing the other devil birds. Very nice. Yes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I was still trying to find some solid Rexes, with no luck. So all the frustration was taken out on the local wildlife. The next day was spent crafting ammo and some other stuff. Nothing too eventful. After that I spent some time breeding my UDs, trying to get some eggs built up. In between hatching eggs, I'd run to the sunken ship with my Spinos to kill sea scorpions, gather pearls, and gain some XP. Y'all know what time it is. Polymer time. So the next day, after taking out penguins for their polymer, I went and built a few AC units to make hatching easier for myself. So this was a bit of a grind for me, as I was doing this for several days. While waiting for the eggs to hatch, I spawned in some artifacts to decorate my base. I ended up getting a U-Tyrannus with a mutation, this guy here with the red. As we approached the halfway point, off camera I accidentally dismounted my griffin and I had to respawn in my base to get back to my body. Along the way, I took out some Carnos. Good job, PT. This next day was kind of a day of falling death a few times and trying to take shortcuts that didn't pan out so much. Well, had to get rid of this leech here. Turns out my Microraptor was able to take care of him, which was good. Then, fell again to my death. Respawned. Had to rush back to where I needed to go. The struggle was real. I was trying to find a way to get my Microraptor back as well, because he was sitting right down there near my corpse. So as I tried to find a different way, this terror bird decided to, well, terrorize me. Once again running back, thought I could slide and failed miserably. The terror bird found me again.
Must go faster.
So it was him or the cliff, and I jumped and whistled for my devil bird. Unsuccessfully.
I love it!
After that, I tried to spawn in a different spot, and it was full of bugs. The next day I made it back to my griffin and saw these beached basilosaurs on the shore. They gave me some resources, then I killed some megalania for their toxin. Spent the next day roaming around and found a level 150 raptor and decided to tame him. Starting day 51, I tried to tame a Quetzal. Everything was fine until it had finally gotten knocked out and fell into the river. Let me know how many times you've been arced like this. So anyways, I found a Trex. Nothing too special. Level 60. I chilled for a few minutes while he tamed up. It tamed up, and I had him take revenge on the bugs, making short work of him. He hits quite hard as well. So I spent several in-game days and real days just breeding and seeing what I could get. And I had to cull the lesser dinos for my army for the future boss battles. Sorry for what you're about to see. The Spino didn't make the cut, and I tried to escape its fate. But got stuck on top of the wall. Funny glitch though. Now their useless eater becomes raptor food. It was at this point I pretty much gave up on Spinos and focused on the Muties and the Fairies and a few Rexes. At this point, I wasn't concerned with mutations, since the settings I have will at least let me get some good dinosaurs regardless. After the cull and selecting which dinosaurs to breed, I took a break from breeding, and tamed some other creatures while the boss dinos matured. And I'll always be sure to rob the beavers of their cementing paste. Not like they'll be needing it. So like I had mentioned earlier, the artifacts were giving me trouble and were not spawning in their usual locations. This was very frustrating, as I had reset the map, game, and so on several times. This wasn't all of them though, just some of them. So the ones I could get fairly I did, but the others I just spawned in. But I at least went through the areas that they were actually located in to make it fair. I tamed this level 168 Tech Raptor. Too bad it's not much help to me at this point in the journey. It's still worth the effort though. I don't know how they decided to go so far, but these beavers wanted revenge for me taking their paste. I thought I would search the area and see if there was any decent things to tame, and I spotted this theory, but it was a no-go, so I just took the claws off of it. After this, I went back to the grind, and I was breathing trying to get the best dinos that I could, as I approached the coming boss fights. I proceeded to do some heavy resource gathering. I needed to make lots of saddles for the Rexes and the Fairies that are going to be bred over the next few days. The next few days were spent breeding fairies, since there's a dragon as a boss here, but it's weaker than the version on the island, since you're fighting it alongside the manticore. I also was breeding Rexes as well, trying to get some mutations, but with no luck. And those that did not make the cut, well, you know. Before I ended my last 10 days, I started leveling my dinos. I started with my Yudi that has a mutation with red patches. He's a beast that looks like a truck. This took some time, but it wasn't too much of a pain for me. As you can see, he totally decimated the moss chops. Days 88 and 89 were spent going in the lava golem cave. I didn't fight it though. I had already had enough frustration with just navigating the cave, falling a few times. Oddly enough, Ark had mercy on me and creatures did not spawn. I didn't question it though. I avoided the darts and got out of there on my Pteranodon. Ah yes, the good old rendering. Hopefully ASA will be a lot better. I went to the Deathworm cave to get the last artifact, and I had my trusty OP Udis. They're gonna be lifesavers. I finally got through the ice door. I realized that exiting the cave, I have to take the waterfall out of the cave. I forgot my griffin, so I made a trip back to base to get him, which will save me a lot of time getting back to base after beating the cave. And so I took a short break. So I used my pick to get through the ice this time, and I used my griffin to get to the cave quickly. I picked up some decent loot, but nothing too useful for now. Just some decent saddles and a nice rifle. So once I landed, and could use my griffin no more, I tossed out my Udis. I followed the blood trail to see where it leads, and I saw some bears that had seen better days. I began to proceed through the sketchy cave. Thankfully, my Yudi is silly strong, and just wrecked the smaller ice worms. He gained some good levels.
Double kill.
He only took a little damage, and then I used the points into health and stamina, and then a couple into melee, because why not have a 3k hitter? finally reached the end and got to the giant drop, where I put up my Yudi and took the plunge into the drink. I had some trouble getting my Udis out of cryo, but finally worked out. As you can see, there was an issue with the Ice Queen as she despawned. So I waited a couple of minutes to see if she pops back up, but nothing happened, and I ended up just spawning her in. She made it back in, and my creatures made short work of her. But she got some decent hits on my Udis, and I'm pretty sure my Micro Raptor hit for 4K. What a savage. I then ran around grabbing all the drops. I got some good stuff, especially this Ascendant Quetzalcoatlus platform saddle. I checked out this frozen Gigantopithecus. It's pretty cool scenery. I traveled down the way to the artifact, and there was a Giga still alive, left to be baby iceworm food. I navigated through the eggs, while admiring that a Giga had been downed, but wasn't out. I got stuck on this egg for a moment. Then I reached the artifact, scooped it up, and took a closer look at the worm eggs. Then I got the heck out of there. The next couple of days was a bit of grinding out some resources and running to the nearest obelisk to drop off all the artifacts and dino trophies so I could get the Gamma boss fight going. I then proceeded to breed a few more dinos. I didn't get anything special, but I did get one more Yudi that had a mutation. And it was a good thing too. It hatched just in time. As you see, it has a really low health. To finish up the day, I ran down to kill the sea scorpions to take their pearls that I needed to make a few more Spino and Utyrannus saddles. I also ended up running across a Basilo and took it out for XP and its oil. It's time for the first boss battle, starting on Gamma. I made a stop at a ringed red drop because who would? I had to see. I ended up getting an Ascendant Thyla saddle, but didn't bother taming one, so it's not much use for this playthrough. Of course, Flexi's got to make an appearance, being our mascot and all. He's always going to be a staple for the channel. It took a few minutes to get all the dinosaurs into position properly. I decided to use Rexes, Theres, my mutated Udis, and some Spinos. That seemed like a good combination for this map. And for those that haven't played the map, the bosses are the weaker version of the dragon from the island and the manticore. I have to watch out for griffins, pteranodons, dimorphodons, and the other main threat is the rock elementals. They only take half damage from creatures, if I remember correctly. Since my settings are a little overpowered for my tames, I will not be using a Daedon for healing to balance it out. Keep the fight a little more even. Let's get this boss fight underway. I'm gonna hop on my Yudi so I can get my team a buff. Let's try that again. There we go. Both bosses have spotted us. It's not ideal, but oh well. We can handle it. It's gonna be better to try and take out the dragon first due to the fire damage he does, especially to the carnivores. I guess it may help to grab my dinos, or I may not last very long. But my Yudi's quick. We're able to run back and grab them. Little whooping on me. This is working to our advantage. The dragon has buzzed off for the time being. The manticore is taking heavy damage. The rock elementals are starting to join the fray, so I need to steer clear. I think my Micro Raptor just did 10k damage. Insane. Well, the dragon didn't last long once he grounded himself. I'm gonna get out of the way of the rock man and keep my focus on the Manticore. With my whole team on him, the Manticore became hamburger meat. Well, Arc is Arc. The vertical Rex, ladies and gentlemen. We somehow managed 0 casualties this time. So the next day, after I healed up the dinos, we went back into the arena to take on the beta bosses. It took me a few moments to get organized. Thankfully, I had some spare time to get moving, get the UD boost going, and get unstuck. It didn't take too long for the dragon to get going and start firing on my dino team. I set my dinos to attack the dragon, and I got out of the way and made sure they were all set to aggressive. So I decided to take a small risk and take my rifle and take a few pop shots at the dragon, trying to make the dragon land so my dinos could aggro on it. So I head to the dragon and I dodge the fireball like a pro. But he still doesn't land, and the Pteranodon attacked me. Then the Manticore decided to rush in and join the fight. Yes, my brethren. I suppose it would help if my Spinos went to the bite head. Swipe a lot faster, but oh well, what to do. Just run over here out of the way. These boneheads in the fight. There goes my Micro Raptor doing 10k damage again. We're on fire, that's not good. Get out of the way of the rock elementals. There goes the dragon again. Didn't stand much of a chance. Alright, I just make sure I put all my teams attacking the Manticore, and I jump in there and get a few hits in. I need them to get away from these rock elementals. And they would pull them away, and we just sit back and watch as they take it to the Manticore. I find it quite impressive how my Spino somehow launched me into the air. Oh good, the Manticore has landed again. Rock elementals always make me a little nervous. But we've achieved our second victory against the beta bosses. I'll just speed up through this little waiting process here. I decided to take Flexi out for a spin to gather some extra meat because I know my dinos are going to need quite a bit to heal up. So while I gathered the meat, I was thinking they need to make T-Rex great again. T-Rexes have seemed to be a punching bag in media lately. I'm particularly looking at you, Jurassic World Dominion, and the Meg. Seeing the Basilo and the Mantas, I knew they would be a great meat resource for my team. So I quickly dispatched them. Rexy does heavy damage, so it wasn't a surprise. Decent Basilo, though. Rex fanboys, this is for you. I took out that Meg real quick, and these little pest mantas. And one more for my Rex fans out there. Took out that weak Meg. Anyways, we're gonna head back to shore now. And as you have seen, my dinos did take some heavy damage from this go-around with the bosses. So I ran back to base for a quick trip, and I made some minor repairs. I gave the dinos some meat and let them start to heal for days 97 and 98. For day 99, we are fully prepared for the final boss fight with the Alpha Dragon and Alpha Manticore. We get to the arena, and I start to scope out the place.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
The dragon shot first after I had given my team a boost. Then the Manticore decided to jump in for a surprise attack. Ended up landing some good hits on me, but thankfully all my tames were near him to bring the fight to him. Then the dragon decided to land, hitting us with some fire, but my team ended up being too much for the dragon. He was quickly dispatched.
Bruh.
The death of the dragon had me a bit scared for the rest of the battle, because I was trapped under its corpse. And I made sure I'd stayed mounted, because there were 2 rock golems, so if I got off I was for sure dead. But I had Flexi and my other teams focus on them to make sure I stayed alive and take them out. As you can see in the background, my Spinos and Rexes are there battling it out with the Manticore. And looking at these rock elementals here, they look like they've absorbed a bit of damage, so I don't expect them to last too much longer. But my dinos look okay. Well, it looks like some of my other dinos have joined the battle, like my Spino there, adding in a lot of extra damage, which is good. Should almost be dead now, good grief. There's some heavy damage to the dinos. Finally went down. Oh, here comes the Manticore. Just relentless. Let's get him, boys. I didn't see this 3rd rock elemental until just a few seconds ago, but if the Manticore wants to go ahead and jump in, be my guest. Just get himself killed in the spray. Which, he may do, he's running this way. No. Yep. We have done it. We have done it. Finished the job, and the beasts have finally been brought down. And I can now breathe easy, finishing the 100 days on day 99. I do hope you enjoyed this video. This was definitely a tough video for me to finish, as I became a father during the editing process. I will continue to make some more videos and hopefully have some smoother playthroughs. I'll end this video with some encouraging words from Jesus. John 10:28. I give them eternal life, and no one will snatch them out of my hand. Anyways, I hope those words from Jesus encourage you. If you're not familiar with Jesus, I recommend you look into him. Anyways, I'm looking forward to the release of Ark Survival Ascended on Xbox. I'll definitely be making loads of content when that drops next month. Anyways, till the next video, may Christ Jesus bless you all.